Hey guys, welcome back. It is Thursday, which means it's my favorite day of the week because I get to hang out with you guys. But today is even cooler because I actually get to hang out with one of my sweet friends that is probably one of the most intelligent people I've ever met and the most gracious people with how much he gives to you guys. So I'm super, super excited to have him on today. We're going to talk a little bit about what he's got going on in his business that's going to be able to help your businesses out over the next couple of months. We're also going to talk a little bit about Everbe store and leaning into Q4, what that's going to look like for you guys and how we can help serve you there. And then we're also going to talk about obviously Etsy Q4 as well, because I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but there have been multiple Etsy changes that were like not announced whatsoever over the past couple of weeks. So we want to make sure that we have a place where we can talk about all of those today, with the help of not only myself, but my friend George as well. Hi.
Hey everyone.
Hi, I'm super excited to have you here. We obviously had you, I think, back in, I want to say it was April, the last time, you and I were together on this channel. And then like right afterwards, I also got on your channel and you were just telling me that some people are still commenting on it like all the time, which is awesome. But we were also just talking about how there has been a lot of changes for both Everbe and Etsy since then. So I'm super excited to dive into that with you today. But first and foremost, I just kind of wanted to get a little catch up with you. What's been going on in your world? How have you been serving your community? What's been going on?
Same old, just busting my butt and not sleeping, trying to give as
That's
much
not
as I
good.
can to everybody.
Yeah.
Obviously my main purpose is to make sure everybody succeeds. So I've just been doing as much as I can on YouTube, as much as I can on the school platform and my community, and just trying to give back. And in addition to that, I mean, because of everybody, supporting me, pushing me just as much as I push them, I actually am going to be part of Amplified 2025 this year, which is just amazing. I mean, I remember in 2024 watching it and going, I want to be there. I'm going to be there, and just kept saying it. And to see that happen, I mean, I would like to say, oh yeah, it's all me. No, it's not. My community is what really, pushed me and made me be able to be part of that. So I'm just so grateful for everybody, honestly.
That is so awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's huge. I went back in the very first year that they did it. And like when I didn't see your name last year, I was surprised because like I already loved you at that point. But you've grown so much. I think you're almost at 20,000 subs on your own YouTube channel now, even with your name change, which I know we talked about might make a little bit of a blip. But I've been keeping up with you, ever since we chatted last. And I'm just so excited because you bring so much to the table. In so many different ways, because when I went to Amplified, there was a lot of focus on Etsy and a lot of focus on like t-shirts, and like the standard kind of print on demand, and Printify alone, Fuel or whatever they're calling themselves now, like they've evolved so much over the past 2 years, which built so many different things. Like TikTok Shop is now a part of it. Different product research is now a part of it. So being able to have someone that brings so much to the table outside of Etsy while also doing some Etsy stuff for your people is just going to be huge. I can't wait to see what you do.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And that's perfect segue into something I also wanted to let you guys know. I'm super excited to announce that not only will George be at Amplified, but the Everbe team is also going to be there as well. I wish it was myself, but I actually am just out of town that week. I would have loved to have gone, but we have our incredible director of marketing, Kate, is going to be there. So I'm super excited for you guys to kind of link up. Obviously, I know you guys work a lot online together. So just that physical presence of being with people that you see and you like admire, on the internet is just so freaking cool. So I'm so stoked for both of you guys and can't wait to hear about it.
It'll be great too, because we actually have like a section where we're going to be talking all amongst ourselves. So
That's amazing.
I think it's myself, Alec, as well as Kate.
Nice.
That's going to be great.
So y'all are going to be on a panel?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I love that. It's funny. I remember when I went 2 years ago, I was also on a panel with Christina and and Steven from Hello Custom. But since we are, I think, like 6 or 7 hours ahead over there in Riga, we started at like 10 p.m. our time so that you guys got to watch it at whatever time that was. So hopefully yours isn't too late in the night.
I'm actually perfect with that because I stay up all night.
True.
I literally do not sleep. People, people receive emails from me at 3 or 4 in the morning going, why is he up? Did he just get up late? No, I'm still up about to go to bed, so I'm prepared. I'm good for that.
Heck yeah. What's funny is I've been one of those receivers that I'm like dead asleep for 5 hours and I wake up to a George message. So that's funny. But if you don't mind me asking, I believe it's Thursday. What day? Let me see. I want to just confirm what day. Is that the 23rd or the 25th?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And you don't know when you're going on yet? That'll be like later in the month. You'll find out probably.
I actually am one of the first people with Ryan Hogue, which obviously has been on this channel before. We're going to be the first ones jumping on there. So that's really exciting.
Awesome.
Also a little nerve-wracking, because I've never been a huge, I'm not a YouTube person. So, it's just like I jumped on randomly to teach people and here I am now. So going from a little camera to a big stage is going to be a little different with all the lights around me. But I think after a couple seconds, I'll get the hang of it,
Yeah, agreed. And y'all do usually what they'll do is like a little prep the day before, so it's like you're gonna kind of already experience it a little bit. It'd be annoying if you just got shoved right onto it, obviously. So I think
it's okay though, kind of I like to wing it sometimes,
Amen. That's awesome. So what time, our time, so like EST or CST, what time does it start in America? Do you know? Because I want to make sure people tune in for you.
I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to double check. It's either 11 or 12. So 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern.
Perfect. Okay. So tune in if you guys have not signed up already. Highly recommend just going to like printify.com, go to their amplified page. I think it's probably printify.com/amplified to be honest. But go check that out and see if you can just get your free seat so that you can check in with George early on. And then we will also be sending you guys an email probably in the next 2 weeks to let you guys know when our setting is going to be as well, in case you want to tune in for that. It will not be 10 p.m. your time, which is great. So super excited for you on that. I wish you the absolute best. There's no luck needed because you're just a natural when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I just can't wait to watch the replay. So with that said, I wanted to also make sure, a thing they're going to be talking about at Amplified and something that we want to talk about here today as well is we are gearing up for Q4. Today is what's today? The 12th, the 11th? The 11th. So today's the 11th of September and Q4 is in literally 20 days, which is wild. But we all know that we probably, if you are a little bit of a smart seller, and if you're in this community, you very much so are a smart seller. You more than likely should have been planning for this way back in July even. So we are really, really down to the wire. So I wanted to kind of ask you a quick question because I've gotten this question a lot over the past, basically every time I do a live over the past 4 weeks. Are they too late, or is there anything that they should be doing that they can be doing right now during the month of September to continue preparing for Q4 as it relates to Etsy? We'll talk about the other stuff later, but do you have any thoughts or any feedback or advice on what that looks like for the next 20 days?
So the big thing is obviously preparing. So depending if you want to launch new products, if you want to boost your original product and just modify it, definitely go ahead and do that now. You don't want to do it last minute. If you are preparing to launch new products, obviously use Everbe. I just released a video on my YouTube showing how to see what trends are, which is great because then you can actually see what sold last year and see what's selling this year. So then you'll be able to prepare maybe some new products to launch in that time frame. Once Q4 hits, you don't want to really mess around with stuff. See, what happens is a lot of people jump into Q4 and they start, messing with every single listing and thing, and it just screws everything up because it messes with the algorithm and being able to be searched on Etsy. So if you get in there now, start preparing that listing, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, I love that. And something that I really wanted to hit on today as well. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick. We talked a second ago about how there's just been so many new advances and just updates within Etsy that really they didn't tell anybody about. They just kind of started to see it. So I think that if I want to show a couple of those and some things that I was really noticing, that could go really well with what you just said. For the next 20 days, what can we do to basically go where Etsy's telling us to go? So let me share my screen real fast. I have to go to Google Chrome and I'm on Microsoft Edge for all of these things. It's always such a hassle with me trying to get there. Okay, so we are currently looking at, I'm going to actually go to this one first. Currently looking at my Etsy, just like dashboard right now. And the first thing that I wanted to hit on, which is not that big of a deal, but it's something that's just, important to note, is Etsy's kind of dashboard, homepage, whatever you want to call it, kind of just changed into almost like TikTok and a little bit like Pinterest as well, where they now have like basically a For You page. So anything that I personally on this, platform or this account that I'm on, that I've personally looked at or looked up over the past however many weeks, that's exactly what I am being given. So see what's new for you. This is new in itself, first of all. So this is an update that I wanted you guys to see. And then you can kind of like scroll through each of these and see if they're, this is revisit a favorite is like a really, really big thing I wanted to give to you guys, because I really think during the next couple of months or couple of weeks at the absolute minimum is I think what we should do is start requesting favorites. So of course we want sales and we want the click-through rate high. We want people to see things. We want them to purchase. But if we can also encourage them through our, maybe the second or third line of the description, or maybe even just in the photos that they're looking for, they're literally going to be either here, the jump back in, or they're going to be under the recent find. So that will basically just give you guys the opportunity, and take a second look over here as well. It might give you guys the opportunity to be able to basically be revisited because they took that action. So even though the action wasn't actually purchasing at the time, taking an action of favoriting or even adding to cart or something of the sort, even if the actual transaction didn't place, Etsy is still going to let them know to basically be able to jump back in. So I wanted to make sure I hit on that really quickly. And then jump into your interest is where it takes next. So it's like the most recent 4 things that you put your hand in. So whether, you're going on your mouse, you're on your iPad, your phone, whatever, as long as you're logged into this account, Etsy is basically consolidating all of that and giving you the top 4 things that you might have looked up over the past couple of weeks. It's kind of funny too, because none of this really is all me. Like, it's nothing that I actually want. It's just because I'm always looking things up for you guys. So it's giving me kind of like the trends that I looked up last month. And then the last thing I wanted to show you real fast is, while we're talking about Q4, I'll just do fall shirts for now, and then I'll show you another one in a second. The changes as it relates to the high level overview as well. So first of all, the thumbnail designs are a little bit bigger. So I'm on 100% screen here. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't zoomed in or zoomed out. So 100% screen zoom, and the thumbnails are more in like I think it's called 4x3, if I'm not mistaken, or is that right?
It's actually I think it's like a 5:3.
5:3. Okay, because that's the funny thing is when you click into it, then it becomes
really a 4. It looks like a 4:3, but it actually, when I measured it, it's like in between. It's really weird.
Yeah.
We have a template in my community right now. Perfect. But it's crazy on how they're always switching this up, and they never told anybody, so nobody knows what the new size is. So we had to create a template, and we launched it in our community, and it's like, hey, here it is. And then literally the next day, they changed it back, and everybody was freaking out. So then they changed, and it just kept on going. It was like, okay, here. And they were testing, but we were going nuts trying to figure it out. And finally they kept it. So we're good to go.
So for this is a conjecture. We do not know the answer to this question, but do you feel that they will be set with your template for 2025? Or do we feel like any more testing is going to be happening leading up to Q4?
It actually works, and it's good, and it looks good on screen, both in the actual web page as well as using the mobile app. So we're good to go.
Probably. Okay, I love it.
It's an interesting size dynamic. to be honest.
Well, what's cool though is this is more of a kind of a landscape-ish, but not full, 16 by 9. But what I really, really wanted to hit on that I noticed while I was doing a little bit of research today is unfortunately, thankfully, we have George's template that you guys can go grab, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But what I'm noticing is a little quick note for you guys is anything, let me not hover over it, anything that might get cut off could be not to your benefit. So like I know because I do this all the time, that says espresso because that's the comfort color. But like if someone does not know that and that needs to be maybe more so in like the bottom left-hand corner, same thing with here where it says fast shipping. You and I know that it says that, but it's getting cut off, unfortunately, with how the photo here condenses down to the new templated photos here. So I wanted to bring up that real fast because what I'm noticing is I'm going to make sure this is on 100% as well. So what I'm also noticing is not only is the thumbnail more focused in on the item itself, so it's like this size normally, and then it comes down to this on the overview, but I'm also noticing that, again, they didn't tell anybody about this, but like there's only a couple of keywords that are actually shown whenever you're trying to hover over these, but now they also have the addition of colors. So that's, I don't know why. And then maybe it's beneficial so that they can see that there are more things to choose from rather than going through all the photos, but just some things to take note of, because it's the same thing with if Amazon drops a new feature, if TikTok drops a new feature, they want to test it on us, the sellers, as well as the buyers or the viewers or the shoppers. So if we can find a way to adhere to what they are testing, it might allow you guys to be pushed in the algorithm a little bit more. So what I was kind of noticing that I wanted to bring up, and George, I want to get your feedback as it relates to Etsy specifically here as well, but I'm thinking, make sure that your actual photo and the things that mean the most and that are going to increase your click-through rate right here in the middle is what is in the middle of the photo. Anything else that needs to be on it, but it's a little bit more extraneous, put them in like the outside areas that's not in this kind of like 5x3 or whatever this is. And then also making sure that your absolute most important 3 to 4 keywords that speak to an algorithm, but most importantly also speak to a human, are right there front and center. Is there anything that I'm missing there, George, or anything else that you've noticed?
No, that's definitely important. And like you said, if you're adding something to the picture, you don't want it cut off, kind of like this one where it says fast, it's going to cut off there. Because then it just looks unprofessional. But a big thing with the title is obviously Etsy has changed the way that they do their titles. And this really comes down to what I've been saying since day one is nobody uses the attributes. So I feel personally, this is what I feel, is that Etsy was like, you know what, we're done with this. We're going to push people to use it no matter what.
Yeah.
So they said, for now on, no more stuffing inside your titles. Be very precise on what that item is. Put the rest of the tags inside the tag area and your attributes.
Nice. I love that. I mean, that makes sense why the colors are popping up then.
Yeah, I feel like that's why they're really pushing that and trying to stop having people stuff everything in there. But, a lot of the people that I've worked with, they obviously have been using attributes. So I hope everybody watching right now is, and if you are not, you should, because it is, no lie, the number one thing that Etsy has pushed for over a year. They've created so many articles about attributes.
True.
So you need to go in there, add some attributes. Doesn't mean that everything's going to apply to your actual product, but whatever does apply, make sure you add it.
Yeah, I love that. And how do you feel about, I have my own, 2 cents I want to throw in here, of course, as well, but knowing that the title thing has changed. Let's say someone has 1,000 listings and let's say, I'm just going to go crazy. Let's say 200 of them are bestsellers and they're selling really well. Do we go in and adjust the title or thumbnail for any of those? Or do we just go in and look at the other 800 that aren't selling? Or is it another option, which is sometimes the one that I prefer, is maybe duplicating and testing? What are your thoughts on that?
So I will never touch a bestseller. If a bestseller is selling, I'm not touching it. Yeah. So I would not suggest going in there and changing that at all. Definitely change the ones that are not performing. And like you said, the A/B test, obviously I'm a huge A/B tester. I like having two things side by side to see what works and what doesn't. So you could definitely do that. But yeah, do not touch your best sellers unless they start plummeting. Then that's time to go in there and maybe make some changes. But it's all about, watching the data, seeing where it goes. Is it going up? Is it going down? And then applying any changes that are necessary. But if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, I had a couple of comments on YouTube videos and in our Everbe Facebook group that were like, I had a bestseller that was doing so well for a while, for about a month and a half. And then because of Etsy's changes, I'm now at 0 traffic. And I don't know if that's 100% true. Of course, as algorithms change or new features come out, there might be a little bit of a pause on things because the algorithm is just kind of like relearning itself. But I've got a lot of people that were a little bit nervous of like, oh shoot, should I go jump on these new changes immediately? Or how do you feel because you and I are very big data people. So I like to look at numbers, probably too much, to be honest. But I also like to make data-driven decisions, and I don't make them super, super quick. So if I see a little bit of a plummet for one day, maybe 48 hours, I'm not immediately going and jumping ship per se. What is your timeline suggestion that you would say to people if they're starting to notice, these things have changed, but then my numbers have also changed? What's the timeline for you? What do you tell your students?
No, that's a great thing right there. Is like you said, don't do it within 24, 48 hours. And so many people want to. I go like a week, maybe even a little bit longer, just to make sure. Now, as everybody knows, I've sold a ton of Etsy products. I sold over 800,000 products. So I've made a lot of money with Etsy, and even having such a success on there and, a business that would sell hundreds a day, I've even experienced where I would get nothing or like a complete drop. In that case, yes, you do panic. I've panicked before as well. And then I would look at my competition and be like, are they working? Are they not? So on and so forth. It just turns out that the algorithm is trying to change, and it's pushing maybe a little shop, and it's giving them some hope, and then they feel success. Yeah. And then they take it away from them, which is kind of screwed up. But either way, that does happen from time to time. So even the biggest sellers that you've seen online experience the same issue. The difference is that we're so used to it that we know to sit back and just wait and ride it out. Whereas a new user, they're starting to get that traffic and they're all excited, and then they see a little bit of loss. They start changing everything. And then the algorithm is like, what is going on? It resets itself. It doesn't know what your listing's about anymore. And then you lose all that traction. So they gave you the opportunity, but then when you saw just a little dip, you panicked, and that panic has now caused you to not possibly get that traffic back.
Yeah.
So
it pushed you back by potentially 14 to 30 days with a little bit of panic. So if we can just give ourselves, I love it's very clean and easy to say a week, just come back in a week and figure out if it's still going down or if it's, plateaued, leveled out a little bit. But what do you say to the people who have, let's just say again, the 1,000 listings or so, and, making any of these changes, like that could be tens of hours in itself, is making those changes on anything that isn't selling. Is there a priority that you would say for, let me move this over a little bit. Is there a priority that you would say for Q4? Are we focusing on holiday things? Are we focusing on giftable items? Are we focusing, if we're digital sellers, are we focusing on things that are going to help other print-on-demand sellers with the digital items that we're going to give them? Is there anything that, if I have 1,000 listings in my store right now, and you're telling me, we are telling them that all of these different changes have happened, that's going to make me not feel too hot because I need 20 days. I can't be making new products. I got to be fixing all the old ones, is what it immediately might, come as a fear to us. So what is your suggestion for what they should do? Go to your old ones that weren't selling and adjust them and hope for the best? Or do we make new ones instead?
We're just going to say, buckle up and get ready. No.
Good luck.
Prioritize, obviously, what's going to be selling in the near future. So if you're looking at the holiday and you have holiday items, you should focus completely on that in the beginning and right from the start, and then, go to the other ones afterwards.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, there is no quick and easy way to just go through and change every single one. You can obviously change pricing, you can change shipping, you can change all these different things like attributes and variations, but you can't change the title itself unless you went into each one.
Yeah.
But again, only do that for non-performing ones. Don't mess with your bestseller unless it's dipping, and make sure that you focus on ones that are going to be selling in this near future within the next 1 or 2 months.
Yeah. Which could also be the other side of the coin of, if you don't feel with like at least 80% certainty that by adjusting your old ones, you're going to make a sale, maybe it's time to go into the research phase again instead. So what will be guaranteed to make a sale based on what the data is telling us today?
The one thing is also just a note is this is just business, and business is constantly evolving, understanding the platforms, continuously making updates. It's never ending. Obviously POD is one of the most passive that you can get, because obviously you don't have to deal with making the products and things like that and shipping it out, but you still do have to work on the back end unless you hire somebody. But that is a big thing with all business, and the people that neglect that, they're not going to succeed. So just look at it that way. If you do take that time in there and you do make these little changes here and there each and every single time, you're going to succeed 10 times faster than the other people that didn't. And I even remember when they changed the whole, did you make this yourself or did somebody else make this for you? I sold leather back then, and I had POD stores, but my leather store was doing very well. And this other one would always beat me. They never changed their listings because they had like 3,000 listings.
Yeah.
So they said that they actually created the leather. And because of that, they got shut down.
Oh no.
Yeah, they were the top supplier, and they were beating me like crazy, because they were the top supplier. Well, they got shut down. Guess who became the top supplier?
Not anymore.
I made the changes,
Yeah.
That's the thing that you have to remember. A lot of people are going to just be like, you know what, tomorrow I'll do it, or I'll do it next week. And if you do that and you continuously push that off, you're just hurting yourself. So take time, maybe schedule like an hour or two a day to sit there. And that's all you do is just make these little updates to the pictures, or make these little updates to the attributes and things like that.
Yeah, and I guess like a little synopsis of everything that we've talked about today. I think the 4, I'm gonna put an extra one. We haven't talked about it, but I think it's huge for Q4, potentially 5. But the 4 things, just as a little synopsis, is, of course, if you want to start from scratch and rebuild products, or build products from scratch, not rebuild, totally fine, as long as you've done the right research for them. But if you are looking to go internally and maybe try to like flip something that you've already done, focus on your thumbnail. Focus on the first 4 to 5 keywords on the title itself. Focus on the attributes, is what George is telling us today. And then 4th, which we didn't talk about, but it's right here in front of us, so it's probably the most important thing: your price and your shipping. Especially during Q4, it's going to be super big. Like if I'm looking at, let's just say, Game Day, Soccer Mom, whatever, all of, these 2 are comfort color shirts. They're the basically exact same thing, but one of them, it's obviously different designs, but one of them is $3 cheaper than the other one. And the other one is at a 50% off, and the other one's only 40. So I'm seeing that, they're both open for a month, as you can see from our Everbe thing here. Let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see it a little better. So we're seeing they're both open for a month. The conversion rate, I don't know why this one isn't performing for there's something off with the formula here, but they're both a month old. This one actually has more views and more sales, even though this is a higher conversion rate for the monthly sales versus the views, just because obviously the views are less than this one. But I'm wondering, is this design really all that more sexy to people? Or is this price all more sexy to people? Is 16 color options more sexy, or is 5? So just really thinking about not only what the thing they're seeing first and foremost, being the thumbnail is the most important title, probably, actually, in my opinion. George, I want to hear your thoughts on this. But I actually think the thumbnail, then the price, then the attributes, because they're going to be in the background. So that's going to be happening behind the scenes when you're actually doing the search, then the title. And so many people put such a heavy precedence on the title and a big importance on the title. But if we're thinking about how we naturally just look at this listing, I'm not going to the title. I can barely see the title, so I'm really looking at the thumbnail and the price immediately. Do you agree with that? Or do you have any thoughts there?
So the price point isn't as important as people think. It's more on the picture. The picture is the number one, because if you can create that emotional connection with that buyer, you could charge whatever you want.
Fair.
I mean, you have to think about these high-end luxury companies on how much they charge for something, but they create this emotional connection that if you have our bag or if you have our product, you're in this class of people, right?
Yeah, it's a status kind of thing.
Yeah. So you have to do the same thing with your picture. You're creating that emotional connection with them that they've already have that item themselves. And once you could do that, and the way that you market that item, you can really sell it for anything you want. Now, of course, when you're comparing it side by side, people may look at it and say, well, why is this one cheaper and this one's more expensive? Yeah. And then, that comes down to, okay, which one do they want to choose? But if you're running ads to it, they're going to see the ad. So if you're running a Facebook ad, they're not seeing a comparison of two side by side. They're going to see just your Facebook ad. They're not going to know any better on price point. So it's really all down to how well can you present that product to make them actually need it, and not just want it, but they need it. Instead of being a window shopper, they're the ones in the store buying it.
If you don't mind me asking, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here. So if you want to skip it, we can. But I'm just thinking out loud of these 4 that we're looking at right now. We have like 6 little postage stamps for the ghost thing. We have a ghost in the flowers, cozy season, and just a standard embroidered pumpkin. If I'm a seller and I am listening to our conversation today, and these are my designs, I'm like, how the heck do I personally give emotional appeal here, So like, not only is the price, I could maybe charge a little bit more, but if I'm seeing, this person's got 74 monthly sales average, 17,217.99, is this one just because is this one more emotionally appealing? Like, how would you do it? And like, just using these 4 as an example. Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Cozy is obviously just the play on words, so they like that. But also the other one is just a minimalist. If you highlight over, do they have any videos at all or no?
Good question. Let's see. We've got 2. So these 2 do, and it's just the size, of course. I don't personally like this. I like when they show the actual thing itself.
They're missing out so much, because like even this one with the ghost that only has 17 sales. Yeah. I would destroy that with just a video of somebody putting it on and just acting like they're a ghost or running around or
oh my God. Yes.
They like act like they're in Halloween with their child or something, that, things like that create that emotional connection of, this is what you have for Halloween, and it creates that Halloween spirit. And now you want that during that season,
I love that.
It's little things like that. But to be honest with those just 2, like cozy, that's more of like how that mama shirt looks. So everybody loves those bigger letters. And then the other one
embroidered
list. So that's 2 big, huge sellers, and that's why they're doing better than the graphic tees. But for the graphic tees, you need to create that connection with a video is perfect. Family walking around with each other, and one person, the kid jumps out in a ghost outfit, and you're like, but you're wearing that shirt, this shirt right here and there. Then they go, oh wow, look at that shirt, and then that's how you create that connection.
Yeah. I love that. And the good news is, like, if you guys are like, well, how do I do that without making, again, going back to our 1,000 listings person, and they have all print on demand, they might be thinking, how in the world do I do that? How do I make all those videos? There are so many different like AI video builders right now. VEO3 is just ridiculously ahead of its time, and just place it even like there's Canva videos that are actual mock-ups. Like, there's so many different ways that you guys can go about this. And the best part is if you make one template for the video and then just change the design, you can upload the exact same video to every single listing by just changing the design and then clicking re-download.
So one of the people in my community, she actually sells shirts for like dog rescue and cat rescue.
Nice.
And she actually made videos with AI where the person has the shirt on and the cats are like running around her, or the dog and she's petting the dog. It's all AI generated. Not a single person is in that video or was ever in that video, but it looks so realistic. It's amazing on the, where AI has been
Yeah,
able to take things and how easy it is now to be able to make these things.
absolutely. And the good news is too, is you could even just have, I don't love this idea, but this is the thought. If you just had the standard crew neck itself, still experiencing the thing, like you said, having that emotional appeal, but then the thumbnail is the design that's going to be on it. There's just so many opportunities for you guys, that some of you even free, or a place that's I think like 12 or 13 bucks a month. So just something to look into, because as you saw, there are 2 that aren't using videos and 2 that are, but I think that the videos that they're using, in my opinion, are a little bit of a lazy
Yeah.
approach, just because they're just repurposing the same thing of size chart. People don't really care about size chart unless you're showing a bunch of different examples of different body types. Then of course that's going to be emotionally appealing, because it's going to give me the full answer of, can I buy this for myself? What does George need to buy for himself if it's the exact same design? That's the only way that a size chart video is ever going to work, in my opinion. But if we can do something that's going to make them feel like, oh yeah, like this is awesome, we're watching a horror movie. Oh yeah, I resonate with that really well. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff would do super good on so many places, not just Etsy. Be perfect for your Everbe store. It'd be perfect for your Facebook and your Meta and your Instagram ads. Perfect for Pinterest. Perfect for TikTok organic videos. There's so many different ways you can use it.
And I'm going to give 2 examples here. So this is a real life example I've done in the past with a cell phone case. This is going back into 2018.
Nice.
This is before, people were like really doing videos and stuff. But I had a cell phone case. I was selling them. I grabbed my cell phone, was holding it, and I was like, and I threw it, right? And I went, oh no, my God. Like, because everybody dropped their phone and they break. I ran over, picked it up, looked at it, went, whew, thank God for this case, wiped off the phone. I blew up after that. Because everybody now was like, if I drop my phone with this case, I'm going to survive. Another thing is like, if you have a tote bag, if you put a tote bag and you visually make it appealing in like a setting of a beach, right? The person automatically puts their mindset that they're on vacation.
Yeah,
That they need this tote bag in order to put stuff in there for when they go on vacation. They want to go to a beach. Now, are they going to be able to go to a beach? Who knows? Are they going on vacation? Who knows? Either way, you put their mind in that sense that they need this tote bag if they do ever plan to go to the beach. That's how you market your items. That's how you do pictures. That's how you do videos.
Yeah, I love that. And even thinking like the tote bag got me thinking about the like book space, especially like book talk is like really, really, really big right now. And it's, obviously surged on Etsy over the past 1.5, 2 years as well. So like a girl like putting the books from the store like into her tote bag, and you can reuse that for literally every single thing. So whatever you guys can do, of course, flat lays work, lifestyle mock-ups work. Printify mock-ups do not work. I do not recommend using your print on demand suppliers mock-ups.
Mock-ups aren't going to get you seen, and a lot of people do that. You have to think about the way you shop and how you shop online. Are you going to buy some basic mock-up? You have to remember, you're not in the store. You can't touch, you cannot feel, you cannot see this product. So you have to make it in a way that literally jumps off the screen and slaps them in the face. And I like when I say that this camera like moves.
It's like slaps.
I don't know what's going on with this camera, but it's been like moving this entire time. So I'm sorry about that. It's like following me.
Yeah, it's like when you have something really important to say, as like zooms in naturally for you.
It goes to the left and the right before it like shot up in the air.
Yeah, maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's like, ooh, this is important.
Everybody just has to remember, you can't physically touch their product. So you have to put it in a way that makes them feel like they can.
I love that. I want to really quickly, this is a perfect segue into what you and I were talking about. You have, if I'm not mistaken, it's a ridiculous amount of hours, like 35 to 40 hours of course material specifically for Etsy sellers to really just like captivate and make the most out of Q4. Is that correct?
Yes. There's about 35 hours of content in my community right now. And obviously each day or a week I add more, and I have exclusive stuff that's in there that won't be found on YouTube, just so that the community has it themselves and nobody else can find that stuff.
And what if someone wanted to join that, what would they do? I'm obviously going to put the link below in the description, but what can they expect when they get there? What's the price? What's something that they need to be like prepared for if they wanted to basically everything that we talked about today on steroids? What would that look like?
So the price is crazy. I'm sorry, but you ready? It's $1 a month.
Oh goodness. I thought you were going really high.
$1 a month. That's it.
Wow.
And you get access to it. You go to school.com/Etsy mentor, and
Easy.
you have access to the entire course and my amazing community, which the community is completely different than anything that you'll ever witness. I mean, they
Agreed.
push each other, they motivate each other. If you have a bad day and you post in there and say, hey guys, I'm having a bad day, everybody rallies behind you and starts pushing you, to get out there and don't worry, keep your head up. It's captivating to see the community that we've built. And I say we because it's not just me,
Agreed.
it's everybody that's in there. They're just amazing people.
That's
So
cool.
it's really great.
And in the community, because I know I'm somewhat familiar with school, do you guys do like group coaching or anything in there as well? Or is it just the materials and the community aspect?
So I do have one-on-one coaching that I launch, but I only launch it sporadically, like every month or maybe month and a half. And the reason being is because if I do offer any sort of one-on-one, I want to make sure however many people I choose is I'm dedicated to them,
For sure.
and I don't just have it open all the time, because then I feel like I would be pulled in every direction and I'm not giving you my undivided attention. So I do, launch that, but it's very sporadic because of that aspect. However, with how much content is in there, I'm always continuously posting, commenting, everybody else as well. It's not really 100% necessary unless obviously you want to fast track your success.
Yeah.
But either way, the course was built to help you go from $0 to six figures.
Yeah.
So.
And do you teach, because that's something else I wanted to talk about today, is obviously ads being super big in Q4, because there's millions, hundreds of millions even, of people who are doing the exact same thing, so like it's kind of like leads, clicks, all of those are conversions, obviously, are a little bit more expensive during the next, latter 3 months of the year. Is there anything about ads in there for them, if any, whether it be Etsy ads or Meta ads? Is there anything in there that they can learn from you as well? Or is that more stuff on your YouTube?
So I actually have that in there. The marketing section is probably about 3.5 hours, maybe even 4 hours, just because it goes in depth of every single platform. Because just because you like a platform doesn't mean that platform actually is for your product.
Agreed.
So I go into in depth on what product you should sell on there, what the demographic is, how long they actually stay on that platform. And then from there, I go into how to advertise on Etsy, Pinterest, even how to use Pinterest for organic, because even years later, those pins are still alive. I haven't posted a pin or done an ad in over 2 years, and I still
Me neither.
get pins. So
I still literally get notifications every single day from Pinterest, like someone just repinned it, and I have not touched it in like 3 years.
That's amazing, because it's always there. And then obviously I have Facebook. I go very in depth on Facebook because I'm a believer in Facebook. I love Facebook. Gives you an opportunity to reach more people. You get access to 3 different things with Meta. You have Facebook, Instagram, as well as Threads. And in addition to that, you can change things up. So you can, unlike Etsy ads where you only have just your display picture, on Facebook, you can have 5 ads for the same post and see which one works better. Maybe a person wearing something, a lay flat, a video, see what pulls in to get you the actual sales.
Yeah. So I think that's a perfect segue into the other thing that you and I wanted to talk about today. Was you don't only have the Etsy course that can obviously help a bunch of people who are watching this today, or anybody who's watching the replay, but you also are in the process, I think you just launched it, but you're adding to it, if I'm not mistaken, an Everbe store course as well. So what made you want, you can be honest with me because we're here, but we're live, but what made you want to go that route as well and provide that those materials and kind of that asset to your community too?
So inside the community, you get Etsy. And then in addition to that, you also have the Everbe store. So that entire module, there's about 3 hours right now in there. By the time it's done, it'll probably be 5. And as I add to it, maybe even 6 or 7, but either way, the more information, obviously, the better. How I look at it is Etsy is your foundation. So think of yourself building a house. You need that foundation. You need a solid one. And having Etsy as that foundation of that concrete slab is great. But you're not going to pitch a tent and sleep on concrete. Right. So you still need to build the house, which means you need to expand outside of it. And how can you do that better than using Everbe store, Right. So now you're starting to build that house and you can actually live and not be rained on.
Right. All the time, right, Don? Agreed. So let me ask you a quick question. Do you have, if I'm not mistaken, Shopify experience, correct? That's something that you've done in your past?
Yes.
Okay. What, if you don't mind me asking, because I just get really interested when someone has been in the Amazon space, eBay space, Shopify space. What is something that stood out to you with Everbee Store for potentially, because like you and I might be a little bit more like elevated on experience and years and web dev or whatever, but like for maybe a beginner or like a first year person, it's really, really big group of people that we have on this channel and then obviously in our Facebook group. So they might be a little bit struggling right now with all the stuff that we talked about for, Etsy. Like, oh my God, I have so much stuff to do there. Why in God's green earth would I go do another thing on the back end? Obviously, we have your course that they can get into for just $1. But what is like something maybe that you've seen? $1, just $1, guys. It's ridiculous. And also, you can build a store for $1 on Everbee Store, so it's $2 in total. And you also, if I'm not mistaken, George, you give them, this is totally random, but you're also giving them a 7-day free trial to the school community, correct?
Yes. So that you can test it out, but you're not going to want to leave once you get in
Great.
there. I mean, the community's there and they're going to push you. And if you want to succeed, I mean, for $1, it's not that much,
No, agreed.
We have people in there that start at brand new stores and are already making 5 figures a month.
That's
People
wild.
that are actually about to hit $200,000 by the end of this year. So, for $1, what is that? $12 a year?
Literally.
Or if you're making $10,000 a month, you can afford the $12. So,
a little bit of a return on investment, just a little bit.
but
Pretty.
to go based off of what you're saying, the Shopify, see with Shopify, it's great, but there is a lot of work involved.
Yeah.
You need to know, even if you don't think, they make it seem like it's just drag and drop, which a lot of it is, but there is a lot of HTML behind it.
Yes.
If you don't understand web development, it is a little difficult. And on top of that, I mean, everything on Shopify, you have to pay for. So
Right.
there are thousands of apps, which is great, but you have to pay
Every
for those
single one,
thousands of
plus
apps.
what you pay to be on Shopify, plus your
Yeah.
domain. Yeah, for sure.
So, it says, hey, you can get this for $30 a month. That's great. But then after you download maybe
Right.
3, 4, 5 apps, you're ending up spending $200 a month.
Agreed.
And if you're just a beginner, it could take you months, maybe even a whole year to try to launch that Shopify because you're not sure on how to do it. Whereas with the Everbee store, it's very simple, very easy, beginner friendly. I mean, it does all the work for you. So it's a great way to transition into your own website without needing that knowledge of, hey, how do I do? Oh, there it goes.
It's good. Very important stuff is coming.
How do I do this, and get this launched as soon as possible? Because that's the worst factor is trying to get things done and you take forever to do it. If you got it up and running, then you start pushing it, people there, and you work on it over time. I mean, that's how everybody does it. And as you see, that's how Etsy does it. That's why there's so many things.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we know that obviously Q4 is right around the corner. We've got 20 days or so. So if we think about your community, your courses, Everbee store potential of someone like joining in there, do you think, because this is just such a crucial time that I want to make sure we're not wasting anybody's time, right? So do you think if someone were watching this today and they wanted to transfer over to Everbee store, they wanted to build it, whatever it was, do you, from your experience, believe that the Etsy transfer is the best way to go, or should they spend the next 20 days getting really, really serious on a niche or really, really serious with their research of what's going to do really, really well in Q4 and then kind of build from scratch on Everbee store instead?
That is completely up to how much data they understand. If they don't understand data, then it'd probably be easier to go the Etsy route where and that's the great thing about Everbee stores. You don't have to have one or the other. You can literally create the store from scratch without having an Etsy account, or you have one with an Etsy account. So you have the two options.
Right.
So if you don't know data and you don't know how to look at it, then, obviously you could just transfer everything from Etsy. You get a good understanding of how sellers shop, what to post, how people are purchasing, favorites, things like that. You could just click that button and it transfers everything. But if you do understand data and you understand how to do research, then you can launch your own separate website and then have one here and one here, and you're
Yeah.
good to go. 2 different niches. So
I love that. Okay. Well, I think the last thing that I want to kind of wrap up with, because people ask me this question every single week. So I kind of just wanted to get your take on it. They're so set on, I want to be on Etsy because it's a marketplace and it has its own internal traffic. And Etsy is obviously one of, if not the most reputable names in gift giving online, other than like Amazon, of course. So how do you recommend? I've already gone over this like multiple times myself, but I keep getting asked the same question. So I want to ask your expertise. How do people get traffic to their Everbe store, in your opinion? Is it ads? Is it organic? Is it SEO? Is it a combination of all three? What does it look like?
all right. So even though Etsy does have built-in traffic, it doesn't mean it's your traffic. It's your people, right? So SEO is important in order to be seen in front of the right people. It is going to be organic. You are going to be found, but you do have to remember you are competing against a ton of other, sellers. So in order for that, one, you have to have appealing photos. You need to have good SEO and ads. I really do believe in ads, because otherwise, how are you going to be seen?
Yeah.
And when I talk about ads, what a lot of people do is they say, okay, well, I'll just throw $1 in an ad.
Right.
I look at it as it's gas in your car. How far are you going to go on $1 of gas? And if you put signs on the outside of your car and you go, you know what, I'm going to throw this $1 in here and drive. How many people saw that sign? Probably nobody. But if you put, a little bit more spending money, you get to drive around a little bit more and more people will see your item. And if you do want to do organic only because maybe your expenses are a little tight, you'll have to post a lot and just get ready for that. But you have to post on TikTok, you have to post on Instagram, you have to post on Facebook, and you have to do it consistently, not just one post a week. That's not going to get you seen. TikTok is known to at least have 3 to 5 a day. Yep. And I know that sounds like a lot, but when you see the success of some of these companies, if you go back and look at how much they post, it's a crazy amount of posts. They do that for a reason. It's not just because they have time or money. It's because of how the algorithm works. Every time, you have to think on how many times people post on TikTok. You post something and then it just disappears. Yep. So you have to continuously keep feeding that algorithm so that you're seen. Same thing with Instagram, but you don't have to post as much on there. And same thing with Facebook. You have to have a continuation. So Facebook, at least once a day, be seen out there. Put the hashtags, and as crazy as it is, the hashtags do get you seen, because I just made a picture the other day saying I was going to Amplified, and I got seen by 500 people.
Oh, nice.
I only have 100 people that like my current Facebook profile. I just launched it. I just launched it like a month ago, so I didn't even advertise it or anything really, except for in my community. And 500 people saw it, so I'm a believer they saw it from this random hashtag that I wrote amplified on there. But either way, you have to look at how the actual platforms work, how to be seen, how to, when to post and things like that. But ads will get you in front of people much quicker. However, do not run them unless your stuff is optimized. And I'm talking about your pictures. Because if your pictures look like crap, nobody's going to buy it no matter how much money you put behind it.
Agreed. And if it doesn't have that emotional appeal, like we just spent a lot of time talking about earlier as well, we don't want you to waste your money. It would be a waste of time and money for that. So making sure like each individual listing that you plan on putting spend behind is as optimized as physically possible, and preferably as optimized as the new features or the new kind of like ways that Etsy is showing things as much as possible as well.
I swear after this live, I am
it's going to change.
This camera, I don't know what setting I chose, but the thing is dancing around me over here. So
it's funny because I always like when someone else is talking, just because I have ADHD, I have to like move my chair. So I just like, I'm glad that you're moving too.
Yeah, it's like every time, and I talk with my hands. I'm Italian, so I talk with my hands. So the thing's going nuts. It's like, where am I going to go?
It's almost like it's I forgot what it's called, but it's on the iPhone, like the AK tracking or whatever it's called, where like if you move, it's like I gotta be over here.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, George. Well, I think that was an incredible conversation. Again, I thank you so much for being here with us today. I really, really, really encourage you guys. It's literally $1. Like just go to the description, the link in the description below, or just binge everything for 7 days. That's up to you, but you guys do have a 7-day free trial to be able to just absorb as much freaking knowledge from this George sponge that you could possibly get
Hey,
and
I'll tell
apply
you
it.
what, if somebody sits there for 7 days and goes through all that content over the 35 hours of content, I will give them a buck because
Right.
I can't binge watch 35 hours in 7 days. And I mean, I'm up constantly. So
Right, right.
like I would get bored, probably get bored of myself listening. And I love listening to myself.
See,
So
I'm exact opposite. I like can't watch the replays because I'm like, who is she? What is she doing?
I watch myself and I'm like, damn, look at that guy. Who is
Oh
that
my.
guy?
See, I just need that
I'm
George
obsessed
level
with
of
myself.
confidence.
So I've always been obsessed with myself. I don't care.
I love that so much. That is, I need to like just absorb that too. Like, go ahead and get that sponge as well. Well, George, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to see you at Amplified. I want to make sure that we can get as many people into your community as possible. Also, don't forget, George does not only have the Etsy pieces for you, but it also is going to have at least 5 hours, maybe more on Everbe store as well. So if you like learning from him, if you like the way he teaches and the way he kind of like navigates through his own story to build yours, highly, highly recommend clicking that link below. And again, of course, I'll go ahead and drop Everbe store in there as well, where you can also get it for $1 for 30 days. So your first month is going to be literally just $1. It's basically on us. And then you can play in it. You can use George's course. You can figure out if this makes the most sense for you now, or maybe it's a Q1 venture. Either way, it's completely up to you, but we do hope that we'll be able to get you into our community and George's soon. Before we close the doors on this conversation today, George, is there anything else that you want to tell the team? Anything you want to talk about Q4 to wrap us up?
No, first, really quick, I think that's awesome. Yeah, $1 for the Everbe store. So you jump in there for $1, jump in my community, learn how to do everything, and you will succeed.
Yeah, agreed.
So right there for $1, you're going to succeed, which is amazing. But if I had to leave you with anything, I'm just going to say, don't get down, don't get discouraged. Make sure that you push forward. A lot of people will give up. And if you keep on going forward, you will succeed. I guarantee that. So just always remember that when you stop, you pretty much are giving up on yourself and your dreams. Don't stop. Even if you have to just walk like little baby steps, you will make it. I promise you. I've been there before and I did not want to get down. I've gotten knocked down so many times, but I still got up. And with that being said, I'm where I am now. But it was just those little tiny steps, those little tiny, baby steps. That's all you need. Just doing one little thing each and every single day will get you in that right direction. And 99% of the people will not do that. So you'll be part of the 1% doing it and you will succeed.
I love that. And something that I just recently, it's funny you say that because I was down for about 4 months this year, January through April. So I 100% resonate and empathize with anybody else that might feel like that right now, especially when there's so much information out there over and over again from so many different people. It's like, who do you trust? And this person's saying this thing, but this person's saying the exact opposite. Which one do I go with? I would honestly, this is something that I did, and maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe it won't help you guys. But what I did was I just took an inventory of all the things that I wanted to do or I thought would be beneficial for my business, literally just wrote them down in a Google spreadsheet, went to ChatGPT, and I was like, please prioritize this for me, knowing that these are my goals for the next 6 months. And it's helped my business significantly because there were things that I thought I should be focusing on, but they were not driving me to my goals as fast as these 3 other things were. And those 3 other things I might not have wanted to do. So they might have just kept getting pushed off over and over again, but they're driving money now. So highly recommend, like, if you guys have any feelings that there's so many different things that I believe I should be doing, just really think about like the top 3 or top 5. Use ChatGPT if you need to. Use your friends, use George, use myself, whatever you guys need. And then just really just hammer those home every single day. Or like George said, at least do one thing to move that needle, to move you closer to whatever that goal is for the next 4 months.
And you just said like writing things down. That's a huge one right there. And, if you just write down where you are right now and you look at it 6 months from now, you're going to be astonished because we don't ever look at where we are 6 months from now. We think that we actually didn't really go anywhere. But if you write down where you are right now and 6 months from now, you're going to be a lot farther than you actually think you are. But it creates, when you read it, you're going to be like, oh my God, I did
Yeah.
all of this. Wow. Look at
Yeah.
that. You don't think about it on a daily basis. You don't think about what you've achieved. So it really is, beyond, I know where you're saying what to write down for where to go each and every single day. But in addition to that, write down just, where is this thing going now? Now I'm like zoomed all the way out here. Okay. Just, yeah. But make sure that you write down where you were 6 months ago and then read it 6 months later. You're going to be like, wow, holy crap. Like, I did all that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I did it. And you're going to be so much happier, and that depression is now gone. Then right now.
Right. Yeah. There's actually a little exercise that I do. I spoke on this, or I spoke about this with a live that we had with Cody a few months back. And it's something Cody does too, and I didn't know until I brought it up that day, which is cool. But I actually write a letter to myself 3 months in advance. So it's like, so it's like, Leslie, you did all of this really awesome stuff. You did X, Y, and Z. You did this for your health, for your mental health, your physical, your spiritual, whatever. But then you also did all these cool things for your business. How freaking awesome. So it's already getting me like amped to be like, yes, like this is going to happen. It's like just a manifestation technique, if you will. And then at the end of the 3 months, I not only read that, but then I write a secondary one that's congratulating myself for all the things that I did do that were on that, or even more. So it's always like, I want this or something bigger is kind of the way I look at it. So that's another little like kind of life hack that's helped me, is just being like, not only congratulating myself for the past, but going ahead and just congratulating myself for the future, because I know what I'm going to do for the next couple of months.
I like how positive you are on yours. Mine, it's like, you suck. Work hard.
Don't listen to George. This is the only thing I don't recommend.
All right, I got to work harder. I got it, George. Sorry, George.
Well, maybe that's what makes you love yourself the most. I don't know. Maybe it works. Cool. Well, George, again, thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to see you at Amplified. Super proud of you for all you've done this year in your own business. And like I said at the very beginning of this, before I introduced you, just how gracious you are with your time. Because you and I did speak about how most of these courses are in the thousands, and you're doing it for $1. Not even just the one course, you're doing all the things for $1. So I just really appreciate just being in this industry with you. You're just like such a light for everybody else. And you come with so much experience that like 90% of the people that I know can't say. So I want to push as many people to your space as possible. I want to obviously connect with you further on like Everbe store and how that journey is going with you as well. But I just, again, thank you so much for being here. And thank you everyone who did stay for the entire hour, or anybody who is watching the replay. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will put George's YouTube link below in the description as well. So you guys can obviously go binge all of his stuff that he has on there for free too. So with that said, thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you next Thursday.
Thank you, everyone. And I'm going to work on my camera so that nobody gets seasick.
Yeah, for the next time.